Hey, hello, and welcome to The Educated Fan, the first game preview episode of the 2021 season. And Andrew, my co-host and best friend, is here with us now. Buddy, Colts versus Seahawks, week 1, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be home in time. I'm not going to have to watch it in the car. I'm pumped up. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm absolutely fired up to get ready to finally start watching meaningful football again. This Colts team we've had so many storylines around this Colts team, not even only all offseason, but all the preseason. We didn't even get a break during the preseason and training camp. So I'm just excited to finally stop all the talking. We're going to be watching actual games, and we're going to get right off to it. It's a tough opponent in the Seattle Seahawks, so it's not going to start off easy. Colts are going to have to be really ready for this one if they want to come out 1-0.
We don't have any easy games really these first few weeks, but the Seahawks are not going to be slouched, that's for sure. Andrew, before we get started, I do want to let the audience know that we have 2 huge announcements coming probably Monday. We're going to guess Monday. I've got, cross-country moving to do this weekend. Lots of work to do, so hopefully I can have those announcements ready to go by Monday. Some big stuff coming for us at The Educated Fan, and you. So stay tuned for that on the recap episode where we're still going to be wearing the jerseys. Okay, do you understand? Do not wash the jersey Sunday is coming. Andrew, Colts Seahawks. Not a game, I would have loved to have seen, in the first few weeks of the season with a new quarterback, some coaching changes, just in general, in the start of the season when a team's starting to put things together. Teams like the Seahawks, who have had constant Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Pete Carroll for years, don't really lag as much in the beginning of a season as a team with a lot of changes. Would have liked to see this game down the stretch, but we got a tough one, week 1, with Carson Wentz's first start as a Colt, first time on the field as a Colt. Didn't play any in the preseason. Let's talk about what to expect from Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and I think we can start out with saying how great of a recovery it really was to that Carson Wentz is even playing week 1, let alone starting and looking like he's gonna be ready to go. So Carson Wentz was a full participant in practice today, and he was able to do everything fully, which is absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. And to what we talked about, the foot surgery, the COVID stuff where he was put on the list, none of that's going to matter now. It's how he's going to perform on the field. And I'm excited for this game, but I'm going to come in like I always do with the realistic expectations. I don't expect Carson Wentz to really light it on fire. I don't expect a 400-yard, 4-touchdown performance out of Carson Wentz. I mean, we got to think about it. He's only had He's had less than 10 full practices from the starting training camp till he takes the field on Sunday. That's not a lot to get all acclimated with your new teammates. Yeah, he was able to work out with them some throughout the summer, but live game reps are a completely different story. So I think we need to temper our expectation with Carson Wentz. I think that he's going to probably start out even the season kind of slow. I don't mean he's going to be terrible, but we got to temper expectations. I do expect him to be excited, maybe come out with a little nerves, maybe be a little erratic to start. But I think once he kind of maybe takes that first hit or takes off on that first run, gets a couple completions under his belt, you'll start to see Carson Wentz calm down a little bit, and you'll start to see his confidence build throughout the game. And then when we talk about the Seattle defense here in a bit, I'll kind of give you some areas to look where Carson Wentz can attack this defense. So I think he has a shot to have a solid game.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I don't expect Carson to set the world on fire early in the season for sure. Probably like 300, 350 and 3 touchdowns as opposed to 404 touchdowns. Got to remember we got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. He's gonna eat a couple up. I do expect. I think our offense is still going to be able to put up points. And I think that's going to be a big reason that, we might be able to pull it out, is because our defense is hopefully not going to give up a ton of points. A couple big problems, on the receiver end for the Seahawks for us. But, Carson, I've said this multiple times on the show. He's not Phil Rivers, okay? He's not going to be back into this system quite as quickly mentally as Phil Rivers was. But you still have to take into account his legs, his mobility, his athleticism, and his ability to do something maybe with his feet if a play does break down that Phil Rivers did not have. So he makes up some ground there. Also, he's not been out of the system, Frank Reich's system, quite as long as Phil was either. And that just hit my head, 30 seconds ago. So that's a fun idea too. Maybe this system hasn't quite changed as much between when Frank was in Philly and now as it did when Frank was in San Diego and now. So that could be something that's on Carson's side, but something Frank's going to do for sure. You mentioned building up some Carson Wentz confidence early. Frank Reich's going to create opportunities for the offense to do that, short passes, get things rolling. And I'm excited to see how good of a game Frank has this Sunday.
Well, yeah, and I think you brought up a good point too. Like Carson Wentz, he doesn't have to light the world on fire for the Colts to win on Sunday. And that's what the Colts don't want him to put the entire team on his back. That's not what this team is built for. We're going to get a heavy dose of Jonathan Taylor, who is probably going to be the bell cow back this year. The Colts are really going to give him the majority of the carries and ride Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I've talked to you about it. When I saw him in training camp, it was just, he's in midseason form already. And he's just looking to build upon that great finish to 2020 that he had. Nyheim Hines is still there. The Colts want to get Nyheim Hines the ball more. Whether it's in the backfield, they've been splitting him out wide. They want to get the ball in the slot. They want to get the ball to Nyheim Hines. And then, all these young receivers, Michael Pittman Jr. is looking to take that next step. You always can rely on Zach Pascal. And then even Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell, this is a big year for Paris Campbell. We talked about it
huge year
ad nauseum all preseason.
I need a bell.
And I think what we could I think what we could see is, do you remember last year in that very first game against Jacksonville where Paris Campbell was healthy and it seemed like Philip Rivers and Frank Reich were trying to get the ball in Paris Campbell's hands, and we could kind of saw what that offense might look like. I could very well see that today, or not today, but on Sunday. So you're going to see a Paris Campbell in those crossing routes and making sure that Frank Reich wants to get the ball in Paris Campbell's hands in open space. So Carson Wentz does not have to play hero ball. The Colts don't want him to play hero ball.
Right.
They want him to play within the structure of the offense and get it into the playmakers' hands so that they can make plays.
Yeah, and part of the problem he's going to have this weekend, Andrew, is T.Y. Hilton, who he's already built up a bit of a rapport with. Seen some good stuff in practice between him and T.Y. T.Y.'s not going to be playing this weekend for a couple weeks, probably. What's the earliest he could come back? Week 2? He was on IR.
Earliest he can come back. Earliest he can come back is week 4 against Miami, because since he's on IR, he has to miss at least 3 games.
Oh, it's 3 games. Okay, I just thought it was 3 weeks from when he was put on. Either way, a few weeks. Okay, who's going to step up and not necessarily take over the wide receiver 1 role, but T.Y.'s got this year, maybe another year left. Somebody's got to step up and be wide receiver 1. At least as early as next year. So games where T.Y.'s out this year, somebody's got to do it now. Who do you think could potentially take that jump this year?
I'm really excited to see Michael Pittman Jr. Honestly, Michael Pittman Jr., the way he's looked all in training camp, the way he's talked all of training camp, he wants it. Zach Kiefer of The Athletic asked him early in training camp, teams are going to be looking out for you. And he said that, and Pittman said, that's fine. That's the pressure I want. I want to be the guy. So now the regular season is upon us. Let's go out and show it. He's been dominating in training camp. He's been making highlight plays over Rock Ya-Sin, even getting the best of Kenny Moore and Xavier Rhodes. So we're going to see a Michael Pittman Jr. that's feisty, a real dog out there. And him and Carson Wentz have started to create a rapport. I do think that it is interesting, though. Again, I'm going to go back to Paris Campbell. Now, depth charts really don't mean much, but when we look at the depth chart, Paris Campbell took T.Y. Hilton's spot on the depth chart. And Frank Reich made a very interesting point today in his press conference. He said that when Paris Campbell first came to the Colts, I mean, he could really only play in the slot. And even though he's been injured, the kid's been around and he's been studying. He knows every single wide receiver spot on this offense now. He can play inside, he can play out. He's not just a gadget guy anymore. And I think when we think of Paris Campbell, we always think of his speed, but at least I do. I sometimes forget that Paris Campbell is over 6 foot tall and around 200 pounds. So he's got some meat on him. He's not this little skinny wide receiver.
Right.
So I think Paris Campbell is going to be the one that will be impacted the most from T.Y. being out. And again, it's now or never. If this is the perfect opportunity for Paris Campbell to show that he really belongs on this team and can be a vital part of this offense, not only this year, but in the years to come, be a wide receiver for this Colts team for years to come. And now it's time for him to show it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really looking forward to Michael Pittman Jr.'s season. He obviously missed some time last year that kind of delayed his progression, I think. Paris Campbell, I think, is stylistically probably more T.Y. Hilton style and could fill, a role that T.Y. plays now, so I think Paris has a chance at showing off this weekend, hopefully, maybe the next couple weekends, excuse me. But yeah, Michael Pittman Jr., he's big, he's strong, and I want him to play like a big, mean Julio Jones type guy. I mean, I'm not asking for Julio Jones, but I want that style of play, the big, strong receiver, which we've wanted for a long time.
Well, and I think the wide receivers can have some success this weekend. This isn't the Legion of Boom that it used to be. The Seattle Seahawks aren't the greatest in the secondary right now. I mean, really the only big name is Jamal Adams, and he's going to be in either a deep safety or in the box. He's not somebody that you're going to put on man-to-man on a Michael Pittman or a Paris Campbell. He's going to be somebody that maybe lines up on a Mo Alley Cox or a Jack Doyle, Kylan Granson, someone like that. So the wide receivers have a chance to really shine this weekend, and if they can get open, they better be ready to make some plays.
So many of their games last year were, extremely impressive season. And there's still people expecting them to be top dog in the NFC West this year, even with the Rams and the Niners and the Cardinals. People are still expecting it. They scored a lot of points last year, but they also gave up a lot of points. So we'll see. Now, Andrew, left tackle situation has been grim. Got some good news on the left tackle front this week. Eric Fisher most certainly will be back early. That does not include this week. Maybe as early as next week or week 3. But Julian Davenport showed a little promise, not in any regards of being a good starting left tackle, but being able to hang on and do something serviceable while our starting left tackle is recovering. What are we expecting out of him this weekend? Who do you know who he's going? Like who do we have to worry about on that Seahawks line going up against Davenport? Do we know?
The only name that stands out to me is Carlos Dunlap, but he plays more inside. So I think he'll be going up more against Big Q, Ryan Kelly. But if they are going to put their best pass rusher on somebody, it'll be Julian Davenport. Now, before we get into Davenport, I do want to say something. Eric Fisher was limited at practice today. And Frank Reich said, hey, we're going to push it and see if we can push it. He did not rule Eric Fisher out week 1. Now I'm still saying it's very unlikely, but we could very well see on Saturday where Eric Fisher is not inactive. And if he's not inactive, that means he's starting at left tackle. Yeah. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we go through the week.
I did not know that.
Davenport, I think he can be a serviceable option because we're going to have Quentin Nelson back. Quentin's going to be there to help him. And I think, again, this is where Frank Reich comes into play. Frank Reich is going to help Julian Davenport by putting either Jack Doyle or Mo Alley Cox over on that left side for on chips. He's gonna have the option to put Jonathan Taylor or Nyheim Hines, who really Nyheim Hines, for as small as he is, the guy can pack a punch, so that he can be he's 5'9" and what, 160, 70 pounds. Anyways, the dude can pack a punch. So there's ways to help Julian Davenport out, so he's not just stuck on an island against a guy like Carlos Dunlap and someone that will wreak havoc and hit Carson Wentz 5 to 6 times during the day. So again, serviceable. I'm not really excited to see him in the run game because he's not very good in the run game, but in the pass game, he can certainly hold his own.
All right. And now let's talk about the other quarterback's situation against our pass rush. Andrew, we got some young guys, and then we got some absolute animals in the middle too, who don't shy away from trying to get after the quarterback. But with a guy like Russell Wilson, who gets sacked at a record pace, apparently somehow, even though I feel like every time I watch a Seahawks game, he avoids everything that could ever happen to him. But he's getting older, he's getting slower. Are we going to be able to contain Russell Wilson and keep him in the pocket?
And that's the big question, because we both have watched Russell Wilson for years now. When does Russell Wilson make those incredible plays when he can scramble around, get outside the pocket, and then just launch a deep ball to Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf 50 yards down the field? That's what happens. And it's going to be on these young defensive ends for the Colts to make sure they contain Russell Wilson in the pocket. And I'm talking about Kwity Paye. I'm talking about Al-Quadin Muhammad, who right now is listed as the starting left defensive end over Tyquan Lewis. But I'm also talking about Lewis, Kamoko Toure, Ben Banogu. Those guys that are going to see snaps, they need to make sure that they always have an eye on Russell Wilson. We know the guys on the interior are going to perform. All-Pro DeForest Buckner.
Yep.
Borderline Pro Bowler in Grover Stewart. Those guys are going to perform. They're going to handle the inside of the line. And I'm excited to see what kind of pressure they do get, especially if DeForest Buckner has taken up a bunch of attention. That's going to allow Kwity Paye to get some one-on-ones with Dwayne Brown, which isn't an easy task. Dwayne Brown is one of the better left tackles in this league. But I'm excited to see what Kwity Paye can do with multiple snaps, use his speed to power combination, and see if he can get to Russell Wilson. But you're absolutely right. The key is going to be for this Colts defensive line to keep Russell Wilson in the pocket, because we know Russell Wilson loves to hang on to the ball forever. That's why he's the most sacked quarterback in NFL, or the rate at which he is sacked is the most in NFL history. Why. He holds onto the ball a long time. He really does. I mean, his offensive line hasn't been great, but he does hold onto the ball quite a bit. So if the Colts can do that, if the Colts can get some coverage sacks even, or if we can get some quick sacks where he doesn't have room to step up and escape the pocket, that's going to be the key to containing Russell Wilson on Sunday.
He's not the only one we got to contain, buddy. DK Metcalf is an absolute monster. And he's only getting better. I am terrified to see how good DK Metcalf is this year. I'm pissed I didn't get to draft him on any fantasy league. Out of all three, 0 DK Metcalfs. Don't love that. And Tyler Lockett's a guy that just will eat you alive, and nobody talks about it anyway. So those are definitely two big concerns. How can our DBs handle these two? Because I'm just thinking through our DBs, and nobody's guarding Metcalf on their own. Nobody's covering him on their own. Then Tyler Lockett becomes an absolute problem. What's the key to success for the Colts secondary this Sunday?
I think they could use some bracket coverage. I think obviously with the zone defense that they primarily run, if Xavier Rhodes was having he had an undisclosed issue that he's listed as day-to-day, but the hope is that he should be able to play. If not, then the Colts are in trouble, I think. But you got Xavier Rhodes, you have Kenny Moore. The big question is going to be, as it always is, how is Rock Ya-Sin going to perform? Because Rock Ya-Sin is going to be the guy that Russell Wilson's probably going to test. They're going to line up DK Metcalf, a big, fast wide receiver, out against Rock Ya-Sin. and go deep. And that's when Rocky Sin tends to get in trouble, is those long, deep balls where he thinks he gets beat. Then he starts using his hands more and gets a little bit grabby. That's what we need to watch. And I think another year with these young safeties as well. I mean, we always talk about the cornerback groups. We don't really talk too much about the safeties.
Right.
We have confidence in Kari Willis, but I think Julian Blackman, towards the end of the year, I mean, he had a great rookie season, but towards the end of the year, you started to see him make some more mistakes. I'm excited to see how he responds to that and how he rebounds this year, being able to play more of a deep safety role, being able to dissect and not give up as many big plays, because there were times where Julian Blackman was responsible for deep coverage and he wasn't able to get there in time. Now he's got a full off season, more time for that knee to get up to full strength and be ready for the grind of a full season. And I think those are going to be big, because if we can limit the big plays and make Russell Wilson dink and dunk, that's not going to frustrate Russell Wilson as much as it will DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is one of those guys that if he doesn't get his shots over the top, he does become a little bit frustrated. So that's going to be something big that I think that this Colts defense, and it plays right into their wheelhouse, kind of wanting to go for the short passes and make the offense dink and dunk down the field. That's exactly what they're going to have to do on Sunday.
Yeah, sorry, having Bailey issues over here, barking. Anywho, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those situations though where you focus on DK, and there's a tail. You focus on DK and Tyler Lockett's going to eat you alive, and then you're like, well, shit, we got to help out over here, and now all of a sudden DK Metcalf just went over the top. He's one of the fastest men alive, I think. It's unbelievable. He's an absolute animal. Love watching the guy play football. Do not love that we have to play football against him this weekend. All right, Andrew, X factors. What are the keys to this game for the Colts, or keys to the game in general? What's going to make the biggest influence? What's going to have the biggest impact?
Yeah, so I'm gonna pick on one. I'm gonna pick on one guy, and I think this is the guy that's gonna determine whether the Colts can succeed or not. And I have faith in our defense. I really do. I think our defense is going to be able to handle it. And it might not be a guy that you really expect, but I'm going with Jonathan Taylor. And here's why. Because
I thought you were going to go Frank Reich. I thought you were going to be real weird and go Frank Reich.
Frank Reich's a good one too, but here's the thing. Jonathan Taylor, if the Seattle Seahawks really focus in on Jonathan Taylor and he can't get going and we can't get our running game going, and it does put everything on Carson Wentz's plate, I think it's just not going to be very good for this Colts offense. Not that I don't trust Carson Wentz's pure ability. It's just, again, I go back to he's had less than 10 practices with this team. He's still learning his wide receivers. If the Seahawks stymie and really put a stop to Jonathan Taylor on Sunday and force Carson Wentz to beat them, I think the Colts could be in for a little bit of a rough Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point, Andrew. Because, so I think it goes, Frank can use Jonathan Taylor to help Carson Wentz, and then Frank can use Frank to help Carson Wentz. But he's going to need the run game to get moving first. So I don't know. Maybe it's our offensive line. Are they as good as we think they are, or are they not? I think the defense, since you took offensive, I think our defensive line has the opportunity to make the biggest difference in the game. Chris Carson's a good running back. We haven't talked about him at all. He's a good running back, but he's not game changing in my opinion. You see, people pick him a lot in fantasy because he gets a lot of touches. I mean, when it comes down to it, he gets a lot of touches. Guys like that get yards. They get touchdowns at the line of scrimmage or at the goal line. So they get more opportunities. So people misconstrue him, in my opinion, to be some great running back. He's good. So I think the Colts have to be able to stop him. And then, exact opposite of what our offense needs to do. We need to shut down their run. And then that's going to lead to being able to force Russell Wilson to have to try to play hero ball. And as good as he is, when it's all on him, he doesn't do great. But that offense seems to be, red hot out of the gates every year until, 3/4 of the way through the season. They start playing teams they've already played once, and their offense starts to slow down. So we'll see. Predictions. Andrew, you go ahead and make your prediction. If you're watching right now, you're on YouTube, put your prediction in the chat. Who's winning? What's the score? Andrew, who's going to win? And what's the score?
Man, this is tough. I honestly think it's going to be a very close game. I really do. And it's because I think while Carson Wentz isn't going to light the world on fire, I really believe in this Colts defense. I believe in DeForest Buckner and a guy we haven't even talked about yet, and Darius Leonard. Darius Leonard is going to be probably spying Russell Wilson a good bit.
I hope so.
I believe in Kenny Moore. I really believe that this offense or this defense has top 5 potential, and it's going to be how does Carson Wentz perform right out of the gate. It's tough because it's almost like my head is saying the Seahawks, my heart is saying the Colts. I think, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with the Colts. I think we'll finally break the streak. We're going to go 1-0. And I think a big part of that, Lucas Oil Stadium is sold out. There's going to be 63,000 plus fans there ready to go. I think they're going to be very loud on defense, and I think it very well could come down to a guy that's been consistent all off season. Maybe Hot Rod hits a game winner, but I'll take the Colts in a very close one. I'm going to say, let's go with Colts 24, Seahawks 21.
Do you know who I'm going to pick, Andrew?
Colts by 1 million.
Colts by 1 million, baby. Let's go. You like that? Colts by 1 million. And by 1 million, I mean like 27-20, 27-24, something like that. Vaughn here says Colts by 5. I'll take Colts by 5. I'll take Colts by 1. I don't give a shit. I'll take Colts in overtime by Hot Rod kicking a blindfolded game winner. I don't care. We really need this win week 1. We haven't really talked about this, but I mean, this streak's got to end. I mean, it's got to stop sometime. And this is not the year that you would think, oh, this is a good week 1 matchup to finally end that streak. You know what? We thought that last year though, and we kind of shit the bed on that. So maybe we need tougher competition. We need our guys perked up and ready to go. Something we haven't mentioned, Andrew, the start of this schedule too. Although we've got some really tough games, we do have 2 NFC opponents in the first 2 weeks. So if we're going to lose a couple games early, those are the 2 to lose. It'd be a lot worse if we lost to, let's say, Miami and Baltimore weeks 1 and 2. So at the very least, we have a little incy bit of hope and bright side if we do blow these first 2 games. Doesn't hurt as much as if they were AFC teams.
I'm hoping that our record when T.Y. Hilton is out goes the other way, because Colts when T.Y. Hilton is out, 1-10. So I'm hoping that changes on Sunday. Jim Irsay has made it known that week 1, the Colts need to win week 1. They haven't done it since 2014. I think the Colts are going to have a little extra edge and be ready to go on Sunday.
Hey, there's certain games that could have playoff implications as early as week 1, so we'll see. Injuries. T.Y. Hilton, neck, had surgery, placed on IR. We talked about that. Quarterback, Sam Ehlinger, knee is on IR. I think same deal. Could come back as early as week 4. Really bummed out about that one because I really wanted to see if how Frank used him, because I do not think he's going to be, inactive, sitting on the sideline the whole game. And then wide receiver, Desmond Patman, saved by IR, foot.
Yeah, and I think the Desmond Patman, he should be back in maybe four weeks or so again. T.Y. Hilton is going to be the one that's big. And really, from what Chris Ballard said about T.Y. Hilton's injury, right after the surgery, he felt instant relief. So that's a very good sign. Wasn't a too invasive of a surgery. And T.Y. is a very quick healer. He'll be back sooner rather than later, and we'll be ready to welcome him with open arms.
Absolutely not. Do we think T.Y. is done? No, ma'am. We sure do not. T.Y. Hilton is not done. T.Y. Hilton is going to be back. Andrew just said it. He's a fast healer, and we're not just saying, that's not just some like bullshit saying. Like he's been back from injuries early that he shouldn't have been.
That's from watching T.Y. Hilton. That's from watching T.Y. Hilton for 10 years and seeing what he did in 2018, playing and dominating on a high and low ankle sprain and absolutely balling out. So yeah. T.Y. Hilton, when he comes back, especially with a quarterback like Carson Wentz and his skill set, I think T.Y. Hilton can have a pretty big year.
All right. Some Colts news. Captains were announced today per the Colts Instagram and Twitter. That's the one. Captains were announced. Quarterback Carson Wentz gets the old gold patch. He's captain. Voted by his team, by the way, for who says Carson Wentz is a bad teammate. Wide receiver T.Y. Hilton. First year man guard Quentin Nelson. Some people might be shocked to hear first year. I'm shocked to hear it at all because he does not speak. I really expected more of Ryan Kelly in that role, but that's fine. He deserves it. Defensive tackle DeForest Buckner, linebacker Darius Leonard, and linebacker Zaire Franklin. I think maybe that is number 2 out of the surprises on the list, especially with Bobby Okereke and Kenny Moore on the defensive side of the ball. Special teams.
Well, yep, there you go. Zaire Franklin was the special teams captain last year. He retains that captainship this year, second year in a row for Zaire Franklin.
People forget special teams. Oh boy, Andrew, it's that time of year again. It's time for me to wipe the floor with you in picks. Basically, for those of you who are new, Andrew and I do a pick'em. This is not, complicated by any means. We do a pick'em. We use this year Yahoo to track our picks. Last year I finished, top 1% on ESPN, Andrew? Is that accurate? Top 1%?
You did very well.
I was in the top 1. Wasn't I in the top 20 at one point or something insane? It was egregious. You were
in the top 20, and then you went on then you had a couple bad weeks in a row and squandered your chances at the big prize for ESPN.
1 week, I missed one game. One damn game. Raiders, I don't even remember who they beat or lose to. I don't even remember. I know the Raiders were involved and they shouldn't have won the football game.
Well, listen, hopefully when I pick the Falcons this year, they actually do what I want them to do, because the Falcons, I went against the Falcons every game.
I beat Andrew bad last year, and it wasn't even close. All right, let's start, Andrew.
You beat me by like 15 picks.
Thursday night, if you're watching this, right now, tomorrow night, if you're listening tomorrow, it's today. You get it. Tampa Bay hosting Dallas, Super Bowl champs, raising the banners, pirate ships going, all that fun jazz. Andrew, who do you got?
I've got the Buccaneers, unfortunately. Tom Brady, I think, is perfect against the Cowboys in his career.
Oh, wow.
Dak is coming back, but there's probably going to be some rust. Zach Martin's going to miss the game due to COVID. I'm going with the Buccaneers.
There's apparently a chance, unless something happened today, but last I heard, Zach Martin could still play, which would mean that he's vaccinated.
There is a chance.
He needs to test negative twice. But anyway, Tampa Bay. Jerry Jones was talking about it in Hard Knocks. He wants to beat Tom Brady so bad. You can tell he wants to beat Tom. He wants to be Tom Brady so bad. I mean, he wants his team to be like that. So he really loves them Cowboys. I'll tell you what. Atlanta versus Philly. I picked your arch nemesis. I picked Atlanta in Atlanta.
I'm going with Atlanta as well. The Eagles just don't look good. They really don't, and I don't trust Jalen Hurts at all. Unfortunately for Nick Sirianni, I think it's going to be a rough year. And Matt Ryan, I think, is going to want to show that he's still got it. So I've got the Falcons at home.
I'm miserable for Nick Sirianni. I hope that when he gets fired in 2 years, he comes back to help Frank Reich some more, because there's just no way he's going to make it in Philly. I love the guy, but there's just no chance. Buffalo hosting Pittsburgh. Andrew, your pick.
I think this one's going to be closer than people think. I think the Steelers are going to give the Bills a run for their money just because they're the Steelers, but I am taking the Bills. Josh Allen, that fat contract, I think he's going to go out and have a really good game.
Yeah, I think some people are still talking like Pittsburgh is going to be relevant. Some people have Pittsburgh missing the playoffs by a lot. I happen to think they're going to be somewhere in the middle, but they're not going to be good. They're not going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. I think the Bills, though, early, I think you're right. I think the Bills kind of are on the media side, thinking Pittsburgh's not going to be very good, and they're going to get the snot kicked out of them in the first quarter or two, and then they're going to wake up. Josh Allen's going to win that football game for them. Minnesota's going to go to Cincinnati and beat the Bengals. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. Again, I don't think this game is going to be I don't think the Vikings are going to run away with it by any means. I think Joe Burrow in his first game back, it's going to be interesting to see how he gels with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but I think the Vikings will squeeze out a narrow victory.
Okay, Vikings. Yep. San Francisco at Detroit. Detroit's going to be bad. I'm really unsure about San Francisco just because of the quarterback nonsense going on, but I assume they're going to be at least above average and a potential playoff team. Detroit still has a couple years or at least one more year before Dan Campbell can make much of a difference.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 49ers as well. That Lions team does not have very many weapons, and that 49ers defense is very good. Jared Goff is going to have a rough day, so I'm going to take the 49ers by a good margin.
You ready for my fun one? And this might be a little bit of this right here and a little less of this right here. At Tennessee, Arizona is heading over to face the Titans. It's Kyler Murray's year, man. Kyler Murray's year. I think the Cardinals are going to beat Tennessee, and I think everybody's going to see just how big of an issue it is that Tennessee lost their offensive coordinator. I'm getting sick of it. I'm getting sick of everybody saying the Tennessee Titans are going to win the division. Sick of it.
I do think that the loss of Arthur Smith is going to have a bigger impact on the Titans than many people think, especially because he was the one that really helped resurrect Ryan Tannehill's career. I still think the Titans win, so this is the first one we differ on. I will say the Titans win. On Yahoo, it says that 82% of the public are on Tennessee. Again, I think this will be another close game. I think the Titans will just squeak it out because Derrick Henry will make a play at the end, but it'll be a close one.
Good. That puts me in the top 18% on that pick. Seattle at Indy. This is another lopsided one on Yahoo. 87% of the picks, I think, are on Seattle. We obviously both picked Indianapolis. People, listen, we're not expecting Carson Wentz to light the world on fire, but we're also not expecting him to stink. Apparently, everybody else in America is expecting Carson Wentz to stink, and he's not gonna. He's just not gonna. Listen, real quick, I want to interject here as I'm talking. Okay. This past week, Frank Reich and Chris Ballard, okay, ultimate team leaders, right, stood by their guys who they want to get vaccinated. They want these guys to get vaccinated, right? Yet they still stand by the guys that won't do it. All right, that's just one example of the way that they have built trust in this team and built the team's trust in them. Okay, Carson Wentz watched Frank Reich go up there and say this stuff and was like, this dude for real has my back. Okay, and he already knew it just by us going out there and getting him. I'm telling you, Frank Reich is going to turn Carson Wentz around, period, the end. Just get ready, America, because he's coming.
Well, real quick on that front too, you said how they're encouraging the players to get vaccinated, but they're not forcing it, and they're respecting the players' decisions. A couple of the Colts, some of the Colts players did go out over this weekend, and they did go and get vaccinated. And I think a lot of that has to do with the Colts' approach on all these things. While they're still going slow, the Colts are above 80% vaccinated as a team now, which is good. It's trending in the right direction.
Love it. Okay, moving along here. Who's next? Washington and the Chargers. This one I struggled with real hard. As a matter of fact, I probably picked the Chargers in Bad Beats with Brandon, and I picked Washington here in the picks. That's going to happen a lot. Deal with it. Washington, the defense is going to be real good, I think. I think Fitzmagic is an upgrade at quarterback compared to last year. We'll see.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I think Fitzmagic is going to have some magic this weekend. And one thing, too, it's a 1 o'clock Eastern game, and the Chargers are traveling across the country. That always bodes pretty bad for the visiting West Coast team. So I'm going to take the Washington football team.
Well, I'll tell you right now, their journey from the West Coast to the East Coast is not nearly as brutal as mine's going to be. Carolina hosting the Jets. We like those boys over at the four-man. What was it? Four-man rush. Thank you.
Four-man rush.
But you know what?
They're cool guys.
Zach Wilson, new head coach, better defense, more offensive weapons. Let's give the rookie a win. Jets.
See, I'm going Panthers. I think they do it at home.
Sam Darnold going to light the Jets up.
Robbie Anderson. Sam Darnold's going to light the Jets up because the Jets don't have a pass rush. They really don't. And the thing is, the weak link of the Panthers is their offensive line. So this Jets defense doesn't really have a pass rush. It's going to allow Darnold to make plays. I think him and Robbie Anderson are going to start off pretty hot as well. So I'm going to take the Panthers at home.
Jacksonville's going to Houston and they're going to win. Trevor Lawrence winning his first game.
Yeah. Yep. Deshaun Watson is not playing. We're going to have Tyrod Taylor versus Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer. Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer get their first win.
Yep. Kansas City at Cleveland. I'm sorry, Cleveland at Kansas City. This one was tough too, especially with Kansas City early in the season. I feel like they feel like, if these early games aren't even important to them because they're going to figure it out when they need to. But I am not going to pick against Patrick Mahomes until I have to.
I really love what this Browns defense is looking like. And I've said that multiple times this offseason. Their offense is good, but I really love what they did with this defense over the offseason. I mean, you had Anthony Walker is there, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They've got obviously Myles Garrett, who's an absolute monster. Denzel Ward's there. They've got a really good team, but I am still going to go with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes was talking about it this week, how they've still got a bad taste in their mouth from the loss in the Super Bowl. And they said a loss in September could really have playoff implications. So they're going to be ready to go. I think they win at home.
Yeah, that at-home part really is probably what tilted me. New England hosting Miami. I think Miami gives New England a big fat L.
I'm actually going to go with the Patriots. I think Mac Jones is going to outduel Tua Tagovailoa. I really do. And I'm sorry, Tyler. I'm really sorry about this one. I know he's going to be upset.
Sorry for your loss.
Mac Jones is going to have a really good game. Sorry for your loss. You're going to take that L this week. I do think the Dolphins are going to be good. And I think when the Colts play in week 4, it's going to be a really fun matchup, but I'm going to take the Patriots week 1.
Tyler wants all of our good players to be back and healthy for that game because he says he doesn't want any excuses out of us. I might have made a bet saying he could be on the show if they won, or talked about maybe making that bet, something like that. Or we had to do a whole Miami Dolphins episode. I don't remember. We'll figure it out. But I think that Miami D is just going to be too good for the Patriots. God honest, that defense is going to be good, and they're playing. Think about it like Bill Belichick playing a rookie quarterback. Not great odds for the rookie quarterback. That's how I think Brian Flores is going to affect Mac Jones. Green Bay at New Orleans, or at Jacksonville, we should say. The game being played in Jacksonville due to the hurricane. Hope everybody there is doing okay. Can I just tell you, some girl in my work training class, the Monday after that hurricane did all this damage, she said, she lives in Florida. She goes, I'm really sad because I didn't get any rain this weekend. And I flipped. I said, straight up, do you know that there's hospitals missing roofs and flooding? That they're out of power and nurses are handbagging patients who are on ventilators because the ventilators are dead? She stopped talking quickly. I was not happy. I was very upset. Anyway, a lot of commotion. I think Green Bay goes and gets a win. Aaron Rodgers just does what Aaron Rodgers does.
Aaron Rodgers is going to come out firing. Sorry, Jameis Winston in his first start as the full-time starting quarterback for the Saints. I just think it's going to be too much.
Reigning
Packers
MVP.
are going to win.
Reigning MVP gets a win. Denver at the Giants. I guess Denver. I don't know.
Yeah, the Giants haven't looked good. They really haven't looked good. And while it's Teddy Bridgewater against Daniel Jones, that one's not going to be a very fun to watch.
Teddy Two Gloves.
The Broncos are just more talented, a more talented team than the New York Giants.
Teddy Bridgewater doesn't turn the ball over very much either. So that was Denver's big issue last year. So we'll see. Rams hosting Chicago. I don't know about you, bud, but I do not think Chicago is going to be very good. And I think the Rams are going to be very good. As a matter of fact, they're my NFC representative pick for the Super Bowl. Rams.
Yeah, I'm going Rams as well. I think that it's going to be a very high-powered offense. I think Aaron Donald is going to have a really good game, and Andy Dalton's not going to have a lot of fun.
Baltimore's going to Las Vegas. Is Vegas going to have fans?
I think they are going to have fans. I think
I'm changing my pick.
As far as I know,
I'm changing my pick.
Your pick?
I'm changing my pick. Vegas is going to beat Baltimore week 1. Lock it up.
Wow.
Better lock it up.
Wow.
Lock it up.
I'm going with the Ravens. I think that Lamar Jackson is going to come out and have a field day, honestly, because that Raiders defense really didn't get much better. We remember how bad it was last year. Didn't really get much better this year. So, and I think with a talent like Lamar Jackson, he's going to have a lot of fun.
I don't know if you heard, but Lamar Jackson's the starting running back for the Ravens. I mean, he's got no help right now. He doesn't have any great receivers. I don't think Hollywood Brown's all that great. I just think he's the one guy Lamar Jackson throws the football to, aside from Mark Andrews. I think if that new stadium is rocking, buddy, Vegas at home. Come on, I got to go to Vegas. Is that a night game? Is that Monday night? Oh, buddy.
That's Monday night.
No double Monday night games this year either. I love it. Life's good. I'm going to go with the Raiders. So what do we end up with there? 4?
I think we had,
3 or
4. Ravens, Patriots, Panthers. 4.
All right.
We had four games. That's a good start. Good difference in picks there.
Yeah. All right, and let's move it along to some news around the league, and we'll make it quick, Andrew. Time's a-wasting. Cam Newton got cut since we last talked to you guys. Not benched, cut. He's gone. Did he release his video today? He was going to release a video today about how he's not retiring and how he still has football left in him. Did we get the video yet?
The video is coming out on Friday, he said.
Fine, Friday. We'll post it. Well, I'll record it and I'll post. No, I won't. I'm driving all day. I'll try. I'll try to figure it out for you. Cam Newton is cut. Mac Jones is going to be starting. I don't think a team's going to sign him until he gets vaccinated. There's no rule against that.
There isn't, and there's just, right now, at least right now, there's not a big need for quarterbacks around the league. If one quarterback goes down, like a starting quarterback goes down with a season-ending injury, I think then we could see Cam be picked up possibly. But yeah, I think just the way the rules are, where an unvaccinated player can't even be in the building for 5 days to start out. It makes it very difficult for free agents to go to these new teams if they're not vaccinated.
Let's face it, it's part of the reason he was cut. Whatever Bill Belichick says, I don't give a shit. It's part of the reason he was cut. Also, along with the fact that he had a big infraction about COVID rules, but he's not going to be a backup anywhere. He's not going to do it. It's not who he is. And I'm telling you, I don't think a team's going to sign him unless they're absolutely desperate, like you mentioned. Starting quarterback going down, they just have a trash backup. But if he wants to go somewhere and start, I think he has to get vaccinated. We'll see. 49ers QB Jimmy Garoppolo wins the starting job over Trey Lance. For now.
I think I would guess to say that Trey Lance very well could be starting by the time I go watch the Colts in San Francisco week 7.
That'd be fun for you. You love Trey Lance too. But you did mention, the lack of live reps and the lack of playing time because of COVID and whatnot. And it kind of showed in the preseason. He does have a little developing to go, so good for you being right on money, really, with that. Injuries, Patriots cornerback Stephon Gilmore, quad, put on the PUP list. Packers left tackle David Bakhtiari, the man who just got paid, knee injury, he's on the PUP list. And Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas, foot, PUP list. What's it, 6 weeks for those guys at least?
At least 6 weeks, and then that's how long they have to be out and can't practice. And then after the 6 week mark, then they could start practicing with the team, and they have to be, I think, put on. It's up to the team. I think within 3 weeks, they have to be able to play. Otherwise, they go to IR for the rest of the year.
Packers versus Saints move to Jacksonville due to Hurricane Ida, as I just said. Vikings sign right tackle Brian O'Neill to a 5-year, $92.5 million extension. Can we get a Brian O'Neill? Can we get one of them? Move him over to the left, Take one.
Well, we have a Brian O'Neill, and his name's Braden Smith. So
I said move him over to left tackle. I didn't say shit about getting rid of Braden Smith.
Hey, we got Eric Fisher coming back.
Yeah, but I'm guessing. I don't know anything about Brian O'Neill, but apparently he's good. And also, he's probably younger than Eric Fisher. Moving on.
Brian O'Neill is now the second highest paid right tackle in the league. He just passed Braden Smith for that mark with this extension.
Okay. Ravens and tight end Mark Andrews agree on a 4-year, $56 million extension. Well-deserved. A couple years ago, he had the most receiving touchdowns in the league. I think 2 years ago. Maybe it was just at tight end.
He's a really solid.
Either way.
Yeah, really solid tight end. I think that makes him like third overall, like third in the league pay-wise for tight ends behind Travis Kelce and George Kittle. So very solid tight end and probably Lamar Jackson's number one weapon.
Ravens signed running back Le'Veon Bell to, I didn't know the practice squad part, to the practice squad apparently. Listen, I cannot believe they did this. After the stuff Lev Bell said about Andy Reid, okay, when he got let go, Andy Reid, who by the way John Harbaugh worked with, cannot believe that he let this happen.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he really even does anything there. I still think, I'm not sure if Gus Edwards is currently injured or not, but I think he's the number one back there in Baltimore for now. I'm not sure if Le'Veon Bell will really see the field too much. I think it's more just insurance in case another one of Baltimore's running backs goes down.
I'll tell you what, I hope he plays against the Steelers, though, and I hope he has the game of his life. Just 1 week. For shits and gigs, I'd laugh a lot. Saints release running back Latavius Murray, and the Texans in the news again. Trade cornerback Bradley Roby to the Saints. Isn't he good?
I mean, he's decent. I mean, he's probably their best cornerback that they have. They're having a garage sale basically. Everything is 50% off of the Texans. They're just trading away all their pieces. I mean, it's who knows what's going on with that organization. It's literally a dumpster fire.
All right, Andrew, we're going to do this real fast. We're going to do some before the season, picks for MVP, all that fun jazz. Let's start with Super Bowl. Who's playing? Who's winning?
Oof. Super Bowl. I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go Bills, Rams with the Bills winning the Super Bowl.
Same. Exactly. Well, you know what? I'll just say the Rams win. I Oh, shit. I want Matt Stafford to do well in the playoffs so bad. The Bills will get one later. Matt Stafford gets his Super Bowl in his first year with the Rams. Write it down. MVP.
MVP, Josh Allen. I'm going to go Josh Allen. I think he does the rare MVP season while winning the Super Bowl. I think it's either him or Pat Mahomes. I think Pat Mahomes is going to have another phenomenal year. Possibly the passing yardage and the passing touchdown record might go down this year just because of the 17th game. RIP to Peyton Manning's records.
Andrew is so bad at fire rounds.
But I'm going to go Josh Allen.
He's so bad at fire rounds. Andrew, give me your quick answer. Well, this paragraph will explain why. Kyler Murray. I'm doubling down. This is more of I would have picked Josh Allen. I'm going to double down on Kyler Murray. I picked him last year. Maybe Kyler gets him one this year. DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Fitzgerald might just show back up later in the season. Who knows? Kyler Murray, Defensive Player of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year, DeForest Buckner. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
He's going to say it. No way.
Oh, I want to really bad.
I can't believe you.
I'm going to go. I'll go Patrick Surtain, but I want to go Kwity Paye.
I'm going Kwity Paye for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, probably Aaron Donald. If you had to guess. Aaron Donald or not TJ Watt right now with the drama going on up there. I'll just say Aaron Donald. It's a safe pick. He's 150. Offensive Player of the Year, I'll go Matt Stafford.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Rookie,
I'll go Patrick Mahomes.
Rookie Trevor Lawrence, because why wouldn't he win?
Rookie Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, that's an easy one.
Am I missing anything?
Comeback Player
of the Year, Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Okay, there we go. See, told you we could fit that in real fast. And now, Andrew, I'm not in my rolling chair. I can't get excited the same. I'm in a Colts lawn chair here. Now it's time for my favorite segment of the year, Bad Beats with Brandon. Got to pull up my picks here. All right, I'm going to give you a quick few over-unders on wins for teams this year. Plus 110 for the Rams, over 10.5. Rams over 10.5. Hammer that. That's an easy one. Colts over 9 at plus 100. Hammer that. Unless you're a real fan, you don't bet on the Colts. Houston Texans. I'm hammering the under. Under 4 wins. Lions under. I have over. I'm sorry. This has to be a mess up. 4.5. I don't know about that. Let's switch that to under 4.5 plus 115. Jacksonville Jaguars under 6.5 at minus 150. Saints over 9 plus 100. Hammer it, baby. Buffalo Bills over 11 at minus 130. Love that. Chicago Bears under 7.5 minus 125. Cleveland Browns over 10.5 at minus 110. That's even. Minus 110, minus 110. So flip the coin. Baltimore Ravens, I say under 11, minus 120. And here, nope, not this one. Cardinals over 8.5, plus 100, easy money. Green Bay Packers, I cannot believe this. Over 10? The over-under is set at 10? Minus 165. Put all your savings into it, but bet responsibly. Over 10 wins. Absolutely. And now let's go for my favorite. Andrew, guess what? You can do a 16-game parlay, and we're hammering one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers minus 380 over the Dallas Cowboys. I'm hitting one this year. Buffalo Bills are going to beat the Steelers minus 310. New York Jets plus 215 over the Carolina Panthers. San Francisco 49ers minus 365 over the Lions. Jacksonville minus 155 over Texas. Houston Texans. Indy over the Seahawks plus 125. Chargers. We forgot to talk about the line. Remember that next week. Chargers minus 115 over the Washington football team. See, I told you I'd flip that one. Minnesota Vikings over the Bengals minus 195. Atlanta Falcons over the Eagles minus 165. Dolphins plus 145 over the Patriots. Hilarious line. Kansas City Chiefs minus 305 against the Browns. Green Bay Packers minus 210 against the Saints. Broncos, Rams, Ravens minus 210, or minus 160, minus 410, minus 210. Altogether, Andrew, plus $379,516 for your $10 bet to win $37,961.64. If I just made you rich, you owe me 10%. Don't forget. All right. Almost played it again. That's it. Go follow us on our socials at @theeducatedfan_ on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, just The Educated Fan. Keep an eye out on our socials. We're gonna post our announcements probably. We're gonna make our announcements on the show on Monday. Hopefully, I gotta try to create some fun stuff to make it worthy of the announcement. So keep an eye on the socials. Keep an eye on the show, and get ready for some big news. And Andrew, I'm excited. Are you ready? Lucas Oil, bring it. Bring the juice.
Lucas Oil's gonna be popping, and I'm taking my mom to her first game on Sunday, so that's gonna be exciting for her. She's gonna get to see 63,000 fans loud and cheering on, hopefully, to a Colts W. I'm excited.
All right, Andrew. Till next time, you know how it goes. God bless football. God bless you. God bless you. God bless football. And go Colts.
Go Colts.
I fucking love football, and I love you guys.
Just an hour. The first preview. I don't mind.